Hello everyone, this is Gary from Fantastic Fundas, and in this lecture today we are going to talk about the civil disobedience movement 1930 to 1931. Okay, now let me just give you quick background to what is happening. That there is a Lahore Congress session. Okay, you know this thing happening. That is where we ended the last lecture, Lahore Congress session. And in this session, it was decided that we will start the civil disobedience movement. And what do you mean by civil disobedience movement? There would be non-payment of taxes, and also there would be resignation from the government. See, resignation of government was not there as part of NCM. That is a major difference between CDM and NCM. And then finally, in February 1930, the 26th January, the flag was unfurled of independence in 1930. And in February 1930, at Sabarmati Ashram, Gandhiji was given full power to launch CDM, Civil Disobedience Movement. He had this power, he had this button of launching the civil disobedience movement. Now, how it is launched? Gandhi is a very clever person actually. Bahut chalu hai. You know what he's trying to do? He is trying to win freedom for India by hook or crook. And now Gandhi is looking for an effective formula, and he's also looking for pretext to launch CDM. Now, what he does is he gives 11 demands, which are known as the Gandhi Demands, to the government. Okay, and he says you accept these demands, and if you don't accept this demand, then I'll launch the CDM. Okay, and so he asked for these. He was looking for this effective formula, right? And he needed time also to build up the movement. So he was looking for a pretext to launch the movement. Number two, he wanted to build up the repo for the movement. Okay, he wanted to what is called as the rhythm of the preparation of the movement. Okay, so Gandhi gave these 11 demands with an ultimatum to fulfill them by 31st January 1930. Obviously, after this he was given the power to launch the CDM, right? So he started with 11 points. The basic what were those demands? Number one was release the political prisoners. Okay, Bhagat Singh was in jail and all those people were in jail. He said release all of them. You just cannot keep them in jail. Release political prisoners. That is number one. फिर आती है जी, he said that decrease the expenditure of what? Of army, of civil authorities, right? Civil services. Then reforms in CID. Okay, and then bring the change in Arms Act, right? Then next is accept the postal reservation bill. Right. Then these are the general demands of Gandhi's his 11-point agenda of Gandhi, right? Then after that comes what is the Burgio's demands. Okay, so they have been termed as Burgios, but they were to serve the overall interest of the country, and that is right, and that is the protect textile. Okay, protect textile. Number two is reserve coastal shipping for Indians. Coastal shipping. Please remember, this is something very typical, and this can be asked in your paper. And finally, don't manipulate exchange rate. Okay, that how much rupee would it take to get a pound that ways. Okay, so he was saying release the political prisoners, and expenditure should be of the army and civil service should be reduced, and reform the CID and the Arms Act change should be changed, and the postal reservation bill should be passed. And after that he also said that regarding the Burji, he said protect the textile industry, coastal shipping should be given to Indians, and no exchange rate manipulation. And then finally he had two very specific demands also. What are these specific demands? That salt tax should be abolished, and government monopoly. Okay, not only there are two things. One is salt tax should be abolished. Number two is government monopoly should end. Salt tax, government monopoly. And number two is reduce the land revenue. Okay, reduce land revenue by 50%. Okay, reduce the land revenue by 50%. So he said abolish the salt tax and government monopoly on salt. Number two, and last is reduce the land revenue by 50%. So these are the demands. Okay, so this is like one, this is 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, over here 6, 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. Now I have not come across 11th demand. Lot of places says that total prohibition. I don't know prohibition of what. If any one of you is aware, you can please mention that in the comment section. I'll add it as an annotation over here. Okay, I do not know the 11th demand that was being made. I'm unable to find it anywhere, right? So these demands are rejected, and Gandhi says Hamla, attack, and that is civil disobedience movement. So Gandhi launches his civil disobedience movement. What is this movement? Now we will talk about it. See, by the end of February, Gandhi ji was talking about salt, okay? And in fact, now Gandhi was how to launch the civil disobedience movement. Gandhi is a salt. He was just talking about that. Then Gandhi, he writes a letter to Irwin. He said, Irwin, listen, man. Okay, listen, dude. I'm going to break the salt law all along with other co-founders of Ashram. If you can stop me, then you stop me. Okay, Irwin says what a fool he is. Irwin thinks Gandhi is going to shake the British Empire on the basis of salt. He is like shocked by this. To better understand this scene, you will have to see this movie 1982 by Gandhi. The beautiful expression in that. Anyway, but Gandhi chose salt. Okay, why was that? See, Gandhi took some time. Actually, he was sitting on the Porbandar coast and he was thinking that what to do. Okay, and he finally chose that. He said that because salt is a part of food of all, okay, without any social division. So if the issue is something which is related to everyone without any social divisions, all would be involved. So Gandhi was looking for something which could involve maximum people, then that was salt. Now salt carries many virtues. For example, salt has virtue of hospitality, which is very dear to Indians, and the salt has virtue of trust. Namak khaya maine tumhara hai. And then finally there is also a mutual obligation. Okay, so basically all in all, emotional contact was made using the salt. And salt tax, in any case, it was unjust. See, because there is so much of labor involved in it, and it was also immoral because labor intensive hai, and if allowed, it would have also meant extra income for Indians. More income for Indians, and Britishers never wanted that, but Indians really needed that income, so extra income. So because of the reasons, Britishers had stopped it, and because of these very reasons, Gandhi chose salt. Okay, but see what is happening is, so without social dimension and without whosoever is sick or maimed or whatever, bimar hai, kuch bhi hai, tax was most inhumane. And salt had universal appeal. Salt had a universal appeal. Okay, now it was paltry. Right, understandable. Okay, everyone keeps on focusing. Even today, a lot of people, they say salt. The lot of reaction of today's people is very much like Britishers' reaction. Salt, he will build up the movement in India on basis of salt. Gandhi showed that not only the generals know how to lead the movement. Gandhi showed that even a common Indian in a non-violent manner can lead the revolutionary movement on the basis of the most paltry thing, that is the salt. And he proved it. And please understand that it might be paltry, but the psychological impact that it had was huge. Psychological impact, it was huge, right? And it was opportunity for urban population also to get involved and rural population also to get involved all throughout India, so that means CDM can be successful, the maximum participation can be there. And in fact, this gets reflected because at the end of the lecture I'll tell you that how NCM is different from CDM, non-cooperation movement, and CDM, civil disobedience movement. What's the difference between two? And one of the differences is that in the civil disobedience movement, the participation crossed 3 lakh people, which is huge for that time. Okay, that is how it was. Now Gandhi, he gave call to people. Okay, first of all, he calls people for few things. He said number one is picketing. Picketing of what? Picketing का मतलब क्या है? Picketing is a very unique and novel way of satyagrah. In this, very politely you ask the people don't allow the sale of the liquor or the toddy, okay, that ways, right? All the drugs they were not allowed to sold, and even the foreign clothes, that was politely asked by the woman to be sold or purchased by anyone, right? And then people will not pay the taxes, refuse to pay tax. Okay, now then there was a don't pay revenue, land revenue. Okay, but this is for the first time Gandhi ji is saying it. Okay, now please understand, this is not same as Bardoli. Bardoli had a very different context from it. I will not go into details of that, but just remember this much. Okay, And then there was also lawyers to give up practice, lawyers to give up practice. He asked the lawyers participate in the movement. And finally, after that, he said that boycott of courts by all. Do not go to courts. How can they give us justice? The laws are very unjust. So boycott of courts. Why to follow law when it is unjust? But there is also one condition when you are doing all this, that you have to be truthful. That you have to be truthful, and that you have to be non-violent. If you cannot be non-violent or truthful, then there is no part of being the part of NCM. Okay, and there were so many other things actually also. For example, he said that the people should violate SALT law. People should make law. He was talking about this. He gave the instruction that the students should leave the school and college. They would have student leave schools and college. And then he said boycott foreign clothes and resignation from the services. This is also something big happening. Resignation from services. Resignation from services is, and then that is how he is talking about, and he launches all this movement. These are the basic instructions, okay, and he launches this movement essentially through Dandi March. And what is this Dandi March? That is why this question is very important for us. Dandi March, we'll talk about this. Dandi March, right? Dandi, okay, this is the name of the place, right? Now what had happened in this, that Gandhi ji, he along with his 78 members, okay, 78 and Gandhi ji, 78 members and along with Gandhi ji. Wikipedia says it's 79 and Gandhi ji, but most of the books refer to it as 78 and Gandhi ji, okay. If anyone of you have more credential source, please refer to me, and I put it in the comment section, right? And this 78 people, many of these people were scheduled caste, they were the backward classes, right? And the memorial of these 78 people, it has been built up in IIT Bombay, okay. And if anybody from IIT Bombay is listening to this video, please do put the comment that what I'm saying is that you have seen it, okay. And then anyway, so he travels, he starts from his place called as Sabarmati Ashram. Sabarmati Ashram, that was the place that he was staying at, and he walks 240 miles, which is approximately 390 kilometers. Every day he would walk, and he would reach up to Dandi. He would reach a place called Dandi, okay. And his whole journey, his whole journey was broadcasted through newspapers and radios. This is very important, right? Because these days the social media is doing it. I just wonder what would have Gandhi done had he got access to social media, okay. And by that time, that Dandi, he reached the Dandi, the whole country was aroused. By this time he reached over here, okay. And he started his journey on 12th March, and then he ended his journey on 6th of April, 6th April 1930, and it is on 12th March we officially say that the CDM has been launched, okay. So okay, there's one interesting aspect of it. I can show you that by drawing the map, okay. Let me just quickly draw it, and right, so this is the map of India, very rough map, okay. And right, so just a very rough map, right? We can correct this one, okay. There's no time for it, let's just quickly finish it, okay. I just wanted to show you that here is the Sabarmati, and Gandhi walks right up to somewhere here. Just a very rough, for your understanding, okay. He moves up to Dandi, right? And then over here is somewhere Tiruchirappalli, okay. And from Tiruchirappalli he goes over here to Vedaranyam. That's another salt march happening. I'll just talk to you about that. Please remember, all these are the salt marches, okay. You could please draw the better map of India. This is the worst map of India that I've ever drawn, anyway. So after that, here is Calicut, okay. This is over here, and from Calicut also there was movement which went up to Payanur, okay. Payanur. This is a very rough map actually. This should not be here, it shouldn't be like this. Dandi was way up, right? Okay, Dandi should have been somewhere here only. Dandi, right? That is how these are the salt marches which happened at that time. How were they? In Tamil Nadu, actually, this movement over here, right, from Tiruchirappalli to this Vedaranyam, okay, this is in Tanjore. Anyone been to Tanjore? It's a beautiful city. I just went there a few years back. And anyway, so from Tiruchirappalli to Tanjore, and this was led by C. Raja Gopalachari over here, Raja Gopalachari. Okay, if you can draw the map in your history answer and show it to the examiner in this method, this will be wonderful, okay. Okay, just in case you don't get confused, let me quickly improve this map over here, okay. This, okay, right. just a rough map, okay? Draw better one. I'm saying, repeating it again. And in Malabar, this is the Malabar side. Over here, the leader was K. Kalappan. We have already talked about him, K. Kalappan. Okay, and in this K. Kalappan, he was the, while doing Vaikom Satyagraha, we talked about it, right? And he moved from Calicut to a place called Payyanur. Okay, this is Calicut over here. He moved from Calicut to Payyanur, and this journey was not as long as the Mahatma Gandhi's, but still, it was quite powerful, right? And that is how the movements were. And similarly, not just these two movements, people from everywhere, for example, people in Sylhet, okay, Sylhet. Sylhet. Now, people in Sylhet, this is in Assam, to Noakhali in Bengal. Okay, they also made their everywhere. People were making salt over the country, breaking the law. In Andhra Pradesh also there was a movement. There was Shibiram set up. Shibiram were the military style camps. Okay, they were set up, were made for breaking the laws. In Maharashtra, the forest laws were broken. That is how it was going on. Okay, now this Dandi March, it is also known as the white flowing river movement. Okay, white flowing. Do you know why this? Because white flowing river movement. Now, this is not known as white flowing river movement because of the salt. A lot of people confuse that is wrong. This is white flowing river because of the people who were moving, they were wearing khadi, and khadi is white in color. Okay, and foreign journalists made this movement a household name in every part of Europe. It was so popular. Okay, and when Gandhiji was going to Dandi, when Gandhi is traveling to Dandi at this place, leaders were doing their work. Okay, and what were the leaders doing? They were enrolling the members. The Congress membership was increasing because people from every village were joining Gandhi. The enrolling memberships and volunteers were being contacted. So, and Congress was making grassroots level Congress committee. So that was another benefit of the Dandi movement. And funds were also collected by this movement. And the villages were village after village. The people traveled and villages were toured, and the message of nationalism was spread to the masses at a level never seen before in the Indian history. And then while this movement is going on, because this movement ended on 6th April, Gandhi reaches there at Dandi. There were like 50,000 plus people just on one place at the one beach. Gandhi picked up the salt of the stone. He boiled it, purified it, and he said, "I have broken the salt law, and with this now I will shake the British Empire." And he does that. And immediately, everywhere, all over the country, salt is being made. And on very soon, Jawaharlal Nehru was also making salt. And on 14th April 1930, J.L. Nehru, he is arrested for breaching the salt law. And people impressed upon, because people were very impressed by this movement. Why? Because the government is afraid of the people, and Gandhiji wasn't arrested, right? See, actually, what had happened, that government was always in dilemma whether to arrest Gandhi or not. Even if they arrest Gandhi, they were in problem. If they don't arrest Gandhi, then Gandhi creates further problem. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. That is the thing happening. See, if they suppress the movement, it will show that the administrative authority is being undermined. And if they if they do nothing, then they were shown to be weak. So, there were two problems with the British: undermined, and they were being shown the weak at the same time. So whatever you do, you were always seen as anti people or always as the weak. So Dandi, what was the real one line? If I have to say in one line what Gandhi did for the British, for this movement, is that Gandhi brought. This is something which no other movement has done before this. Nobody has done this, and it brought government on the same table for talks. That is the conclusion of the civil disobedience movement. Okay, and so that is how this movement was going on. Now, at this time, Muslim support was also there. For example, Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan Ji, also known as the red shirts. Okay, because they would wear red shirts. Why would they wear red shirts? The scientific logic is that the red shirts get dirty least. Red colors gets dirty very late. Okay, dirt doesn't show up on red color. That is why even the coolies wear the red color in India anyway, right? So also known as he is also known as the Frontier Gandhi. Okay, and he made non-violent revolutionaries. He called them as Khudai Khidmatgars. This word means the servants of the God. And this Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, he was a great follower of Gandhi. He was a Pathan. He was a non-violent Pathan, and they led the masses to upsurge in Peshawar. Okay, in Peshawar, they say at the same time they were doing a lot of work. In fact, in April 1930, there was no government in Peshawar because of the efforts of Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan. Okay, but when partition happens, Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, he cries. He says, "What will I answer to my people who had faith on me, and you are parting the country?" He really cries on the stage at that time. Anyway, he published a magazine, the name of which was Pakhtun. You might have heard of this word. Okay, this was as a political magazine, and this was in Pashto language, Pashto. Okay, they sing beautiful songs, in Pashto language. It's known for its melody in singing Pashto. And soldiers at the same time, this was Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan. Also, the impact of the movement was the soldiers of the Gadwali regiment, especially the leader was, his name was Chandar Singh Gadwali. This Chandar Singh leader Gadwali, he was a soldier, and under his leadership, a lot of soldiers actually, they refused to fire on the unarmed crowds at Peshawar. So this is so much of agitation has been created at Peshawar by the Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan. Now, when all of this has happened, obviously their government is going to react. So how government reacts, we are going to talk about the government reaction now. Now, government reaction is what, as I said, told on 14 April, Nehru is arrested. Okay, then government does repression, government uses the force and the violence. Okay, and then on 4th May also, don't worry that Gandhi is not arrested. On 4th May 1930, even Gandhi is arrested. Actually, Gandhi is arrested because at this time Gandhi has announced that he is going to raid the Dharsana salt works. Okay, and this I'll talk to you about this in detail. Before that, please know that the arrest of the Gandhi by the British was very in terms of time, it was very ill conceived. Why? Because it prevented neither Gandhi from building up the momentum. या तो Gandhi को पहले ही arrest कर लेता, either they should have arrested Gandhi earlier only. So Gandhi built the momentum, and after Gandhi is arrested, he doesn't allow government to reap the benefits of their policy of sitting out. So damned if you do, damned if you don't. That is how it is going on, right? So massive protests are there when Gandhi is arrested. Massive protest. And then on 16 May 1930, finally, British are forced, because their situation went out of control, to impose a martial law. See, it is because of this only Gandhi kept on saying that you cannot fight Britishers violently. They will impose martial law and kill people. That is how it was going on. So leaders, there was this Dharsana salt works. They were old, young, all kind of people. They would remain violent. The beautiful scene represented in movie Gandhi in 1982 that was produced, right? The main leader of this was Sarojini Naidu. Sarojini Naidu had a great role in Dandi March also. Sarojini Naidu, right? And they, what did they do on 21 May 1930? They attack, on the in fact, sorry, this lady became the first president of the Congress in 1925 only. Okay, and 1920-30 they launched this Dharsana salt attack, and over there, a lot of people were involved. A lot of press reporters were also there. Gandhiji's son Manilal, he was also there in Dharsana salt works and also in the Dandi March. Okay, and at this time there was a very important journalist of the newspaper. His name was Webb Miller. And he gave the account of the brutal beatings of the people at the Dharasana salt works. Okay, and people violently they were trying to break the gate. Non-violently, and Britishers were being violent to them. But these guys did not raise even one blow against the Britishers. Okay, so that is how the movement, the word was spread that how Britishers are beating the innocent Indians who were non-violent, right? And in fact, there is one name associated with this. I'm not sure about this, but just in case in paper it appears, his name is Vincent Walker. Okay, now this name has been used in movie Gandhi, but the historical accounts refer the name as Webb Miller. So there is some confusion, but Webb Miller is definitely right, but I'm not sure about the Vince Walker guy. Okay. And not just this, the women were also involved in Dandi March. Let me tell you who were those women who boycotted, the women boycotted foreign clothes. Okay. Now there is so much of stress on foreign clothes. I wonder all the time they were wearing foreign clothes and not Indian clothes, that is khadi, because it was costly actually. right? And women were definitely involved in a lot of picketing. And Gandhiji said that, you know, it is libel, you know, it is apmanjanak hai, ya fir it is defamation to call women a weaker sex, right? And then after women role, there were also some social changes happening at this time. What kind of social changes? That the liquor boycott, brought government revenues from existing duties crashing down. So government money went down because of the liquor boycott. And number two, that thing happened over here, that the toddy trees, okay, the toddy trees, their heads were cut, okay, toddy trees heads were cut, right? This is how it was happening. And regarding, you know, Dandi March, the activity in provinces was also going on at the time of Dandi March. Activity in princess, this has been asked in paper also at the time of Dandi March. It can come as an individual question also, or a mixed question also, whatever it may, but it can come in your exam. For example, in eastern India, the activities was, the main activity that was happening was Chowkidara tax. Now actually such issues were picked by the Congress because they were non-divisive, because they would not divide people. That is why the Chowkidara tax is essentially a no tax campaign. Okay, no tax campaign. Now Chowkidars were actually paid. Chowkidar is the gatekeeper, guard. Okay, they were paid out of the tax levied, especially on the villages. Okay, they were the guards who supplemented the small police force in the region, and they acted as the spies for the government. And it was we as a Congress, we asked for the resignation of the Chowkidars. So we were looking for their resignation. It was first done in Bihar as salt. See, actually in Bihar you do not have much scope for making salt. It is a landlocked area of the country. So there also the focus was on this, the Chowkidar, and then later on the northeastern part of the country. And in this only the Dr. Rajendra Prasad, he was beaten up. Then this was in eastern India, right? Then in Bengal, if you talk about it, over there monsoon was on. Monsoon became on by this time, and it became difficult to carry on the tax movement, right? Monsoon comes there in May only, in the month of May. So there was a problem. So there was difficult to make salt. So focus was again here also shifted to Chowkidara tax, right? Such a planned, clever move step, right? And also there was a movement of the anti-union board agitation. Okay, anti-union board agitation was also done over here. Now in Gujarat, there was in Kheda district, in Bardoli Taluka. Okay, in Bardoli Taluka, we have covered this already, right? And there was also a no tax movement, right? And then in the central provinces and also in Maharashtra and Karnataka, there was defiance of forest laws. So all over country, this is all part of the CDM only that is going on, right? Then in Assam, there was a issue of Cunningham circular. Cunningham. Let me write again. Cunningham circular. Okay, circular. What is this Cunningham circular? It forced the students and their guardians to furnish, the assurance of good behavior. If student did not behave well, they were to be thrown out of the school and college. They were protest against it because it was being done arbitrary. And then, do you remember? Actually, I guess I missed it. Earlier there was also what is known as Carlisle circular. What is Carlisle circular? It was in 1905. Right after the partition of Bengal, and what it was that if any college violates government order and the student quits the educational institution, right, then no assistance will be given by the government to the institution. Okay, any college violates the government order and student quits educational institution, because they would quit the educational institution for violation only, and every time students were quitting school, college, they will not go any help of the institute, any kind of money. This circular was actually issued when youth started opposing Western education against partition of Bengal. That time it came, Carlisle, right, 1905. Anyway, so after this, so no revenue and no rent campaign in UP. The page is full, I'll write in the new page. In UP, there was what is called as no rent and no revenue campaign. No revenue campaign. In this, what had happened, no revenue, actually it means that call to zamindars to not to pay revenue to government. Okay, it was a call to zamindar, but zamindar remained loyal to the British, and no rent means it was a call to tenant to not to pay zamindar, but zamindar paid. So this movement essentially remained just a no rent movement, that the no revenue part of it could not be really successful, right? And in Sholapur, as always, Sholapur as always, Shola bhadak rahe hain. So it was the one of the most violent movements of all the time. And then in Nagaland, there was also issue of Rani Gadiliu, okay, Gardiliu. See, Rani Gadiliu issue, I have covered it on my website also. You can just search Rani Gadiliu plus Fantastic Fundas. You can go to my website, fantasticfundas.com. Okay, just search this on Google, you will find it, fantasticfundas.com. There I have covered this in detail, and I've earlier also covered it, so I'm not covering it here. Okay, and in South India, this was all going in North. In South India, further what is happening, that the repression was the most severe actually in South India. And for example, okay, in Tamil Nadu, CDM was being carried out under the leadership of Rajaji, okay, Rajaji, and who also organized salt marches over there, right? That's the number one. On the Malabar side, K. Kalappan was there. I've already told you that, okay, K. Kalappan, and he was there in Satyagraha earlier also. In Odisha, if I talk to you, just not South, okay, but then otherwise Odisha, there was a very important person. His name is Gopa Bahadur Chaudhary. Gopa Bahadur Chaudhary, right? And then in South India, there was more things. Lawyers were part of, but overall lawyers were part of it, but not many lawyers left practice. Students were part of it, but not many left the schools. There was a deep attraction in youth towards the Bhagat Singh and the labor strikes, and also Surya Sen and such people, okay. But the number of, one thing is for sure, the number of prisoners at this time, it went very huge, okay. More than 90,000 it was crossing at this time only. Then how were people mobilized? How? This was where I have answered to you already. Now how were people mobilized during CDM? The various terms have come up regarding this, so you should be aware of these terms. One is Prabhat Fairies. Prabhat is morning, and Fairy means round. So morning rounds were band of men and women. They would travel and singing the national song. They would travel the streets and make the people aware. Number two was Patrika. Patrika means letter, so illegal news sheets, they were defied to Press Act, Patrika. And then there was magic lanterns, and magic lanterns were used to spread the nationalistic message. Bhagat Singh used this message lanterns also for his slideshows. Then there was also Vanar Senas, or the monkey armies of the men, and women said no, we don't want to be Vanar, we would be cats rather, so they make Manjari Senas, okay. And that is how it all was going on. That is how part of it, okay. Now obviously there would be reaction to it, and how would be the reaction of it? Obviously there would be violence and all those things. So there came the government reaction to this. The government reaction was it was sort of a good, it was like ambivalence, okay. Ambivalence is a positive word anyway, but initially, but later on, when Gandhi is arrested and the civil liberties are curbed by the government, this is later on, right? And the press is banned at this time. But see, Congress working committee wasn't declared unlawful till the end of June, okay. And by this time Nehru was also set free. So a mixed sort of a reaction from the government. They are themselves confused about what to do and what not to do. And finally the real reaction is on 9th July 1930. Within just few months of that, RTC is announced by Irwin, Lord Irwin, Viceroy, who is there, okay. And goal of number one and number two is, they say we are going to give you Dominion status, whereas now we did not want Dominion status, we wanted complete independence, right? And it was finally decided that there are two people, okay. One is the Tej Bahadur Sapru, and second person is M.R. Jaikar. These two people will look for the possibility of peace. Tej Bahadur Sapru, peace between the government and the Congress. and it would be head Sapru was there, and Sapru headed Liberal Foundation to boycott Simon. I've already talked about that. Sapru also had been making a Nehru report, right? This is the same Sapru who was also part of Baspa when Nehru report was made. So Nehru, now on this occasion, Nehru Baap Beta, okay, Nehru father and son, they are taken to jail. Which jail? Where I guess Sanjay Dutt was also banned, imprisoned here. Yerawada jail, I'm not sure. Anyway, to meet Gandhi ji for settlement, because Gandhi ji is in this jail, right? For settlement, opinion would, so that they whether to attend the coming RTC in November, the first RTC meeting or not, right? So demands were proposed after Nehru went to see Gandhi ji in jail. And there were few demands that came out of Yerawada jail. And what were those demands? The first one was the succession right, that we want full freedom now. Number two is that complete national government with defense and finance. So we want control over national government and defense and also finance. These are the few areas where they were seeking control. And then third thing they were looking for was that financial claims of Britain would be settled by an independent tribunal. Tribunal would set up these claims. Therefore, but these things were not acceptable to the Britishers, so the talks broke. Okay, please understand this. This is important part. You have to remember that. What do you have to remember? That there was a succession right, that there was a national government, and who was a demand for national government, defense and finance. And number third was that the British financial claims would be decided by the independent tribunal. These were the demands of Gandhi from the Yerawada jail in consultation with the Nehrus. Now, these obviously talks broke, and the Congress did not accept, Britishers did not accept these demands. So what happens after this, we'll talk about that. That is, of course, the round table conference happens, and round table conference, Congress does not take the part, right? The features of CDM, okay, overall, what are the features of the civil disobedience movement? Number one is that about 1 lakh people went to jail. 1 lakh people went to jail. Okay, now this number is 3 times that of the NCM if we talk about the number of people going to jail. Import of cloth from British territories fell to half. Okay, so the import of cloth is reduced by 50% because of the foreign cloth boycott. And then a government income from liquor and what is called as cigarettes. Okay, cigarettes, this also fell. And then next is election to Legislative Assembly in 1933 were boycotted because it was finally decided in Lahore resolution only that we are not going to fight the elections. But yeah, one noticeable fact is that the Muslim participation was very low in the CDM because of that time issue of Khalifa in the past. Now communal leaders basically all the communal leaders, they stayed away from CDM, but doesn't mean that the Muslims did not participate in CDM. They did, right? Still participation of the Muslim was not insignificant. Okay, in other words, the participation of the Muslims in CDM, it was significant. For example, they played a great role. Abdul Ghaffar Khan in the northwest frontier province, and even in Bengal and in Punjab. Okay, in Punjab, Muslim participation was high because of areas like where there were Muslim majorities. For example, there was Noakhali, okay, and there is Senhata. And there is, and also in Tripura there was a huge involvement of the Muslims. Okay, now this is the same Noakhali where very obviously those families must be living there, I presume. So these would later on create a lot of problem. The direct action day that is for later on called by Muhammad Ali Jinnah when it was absolutely communal, trying to divide the country into two. And regarding women, it was the most liberating experience for the women, and it can be truly said that women make their entry into the freedom struggle movement through the revolt through this civil disobedience movement, right? In this background, now nothing can be done, and November comes, and in fact in November 1930 first RTC is held, first roundtable conference is held, and Indians and Britishers for the first time, because of the CDM, Indians and Britishers are sitting as equals. This is a huge step forward. This step is one of the most prominent steps of the Indian freedom movement. Every delegate reiterated that a constitutional discussion to which Congress was not a party was meaningless. Okay, they said that everyone said who went to this that without Congress this RTC is bogus, it is useless, it should not be done, right? And then it was hoped that Congress took part in the next RTC. Okay, there was a hope for the next one. And on 25th January 1931, Gandhi is released along with 11 other members of the Congress Working Committee. And after there are discussions between Gandhi and Irwin at the time, and the output of that is the Gandhi-Irwin Pact. Okay, Gandhi-Irwin Pact. We'll talk about this pact, but before that pact, I would like to, just talk to you about the main leaders who were present in this first RTC. What are the names of those? I talked a lot of names, but what can I do? They are asking these questions in your exam. You have to do it. Okay. So the main leader, the first RTC, the chairman of this RTC was the Prime Minister himself. It was Ramsay MacDonald. And number two, it was not attended by Congress. And the main leaders were, okay, let's put it group wise, right? From Muslim League, there were leaders like there was Jinnah, and obviously there would be Shafi and Aga Khan. Very easy, right? You know these names. And also then apart from these, among Muslims, there was also Muhammad Zafarullah Khan. Okay, Muhammad Zafarullah Khan. Muhammad Zafarullah Khan is a new name that I have mentioned for the first time over here. And then there was also Fazlul Haq. Fazlul Haq. He was there, right? From Muslim League, they were there. From Hindu Mahasabha, there was a leader called Moonji, Chandrama, Moonji, and there was also a Jaikar. Okay, they were like, this thing, right? They had the responsivist element in them. And from Sikhism, there was the representative was Ujjal Singh. Okay, Ujjal Singh. He was the leader. Then again, this is the all communal thing happening over here. Number 4 is from the Indian Liberal Party, because I told you about the Liberal Party has been formed, and the leaders were obviously Tej Bahadur Sapru, and the other person was Chintamani. Okay, Chintamani, who attended this meeting, and there was also Srinivas Shastri. Shastri was the person who attended this, right? And this person is also part of the India Independence League. And for untouchables, okay, वो भी पीछे नहीं रहेंगे, and they also don't remain backward. Untouchable are led by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. That is how it all goes. Okay, so we see, and plus there are also divans of many provinces attending this. Everyone is attending, but not the Congress in this first round table conference. Anyway, coming back to the topic of the Gandhi-Irwin Pact. Gandhi-Irwin Pact. Now, in this pact, I have given you the background, and this was on 5th of March of 1931. And just few days, 18 days after this, on 23rd March 1931, Bhagat Singh would be hanged. Now, it was signed by Gandhi on the behalf of the Congress, and it was signed by Irwin on behalf of British. Okay, now this is an exceptional thing to happen. You see the Modi exchanging the file, or some diplomat exchanging the file, but it was uncommon at that time. And it was held that number 1 is that all prisoners who are not convicted of violence, they would be set free. Okay, they would be immediately released, and all ordinances would be taken back. So non-violent prisoners, they would be set free, number 1. Then ordinance would be taken back. Whatever the issues were, they were issued. For example, military rule was proclaimed. And then remission of fines not yet collected. So whatever the fines are there, but if they have not been collected, then they would be not be taken away. Okay, and whatever the land was confiscated, okay, and not yet sold to third parties, that so land would be returned. Moreover, but please understand, they refused to abolish salt tax. They did not abolish salt tax with the Gandhi-Irwin Pact, and they also, agreed to give the permit for. Though they agreed, okay, regarding salt, that they would give the permit for the manufacturing and selling by people, but only which people, this permit, okay, PERMIT, this permit is only for the people living in the seashore region, not for everyone. And a right to peaceful, okay, this is interesting. They said, okay, you can peacefully do picketing, whatever you want to do, go ahead with it, do your shit. Anyway, so right to peaceful and non-aggressive picketing, right? This is what Britishers have thought. Okay, I mean, I'm sorry for that word, but that's how Britishers must have thought. So picketing, okay, whatever you want to do, don't disturb us. That is what I primarily meant, right? So right of peaceful and non-aggressive picketing you can do. Demand for inquiry into police excesses, okay, police excesses. This demand was not accepted by the Britishers at that time, and Congress was to continue CDM. This was also decided Congress was to discontinue CDM, right? Obviously, why continue? Number 8 is that they understood that it was understood the Congress would take part in the second RTC. This was also part of Gandhi Irwin Pact. Now, British agreed over all these things, but British disagreed, okay, two very important things. Now, this becomes bone of contention. A lot of people have exploited this opportunity to spread communalism using these two things. Number one was that they said that we cannot release Bhagat Singh and Rajguru and Sukhdev, and we will be hanging them, we will be giving them death penalty. Number two is that there would be no inquiry, no public inquiry, okay, no public inquiry of police excesses. This demand was also rejected by the Irwin. Now, these two are very critical demands because the violence was very extreme, and this is how it goes on, right? Okay, now Gandhi on behalf of Congress agreed to British. He said, okay, we will finish CDM, okay, but he again pleaded to Britishers for not giving death penalty to Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, Sukhdev Thapar. But then, it is Britishers' choice whether they give or not. A lot of people claim that we should not have signed the Gandhi-Irwin Pact itself if Britishers were not ready to release these people. But please understand that at this time the repression was so high that government even refused to do public inquiry into police excesses, and so many people were dying. The movement had to be stopped. Somewhere there had to be stopped, and that is why Gandhi had no choice. Okay, Gandhi had no choice but to accept the Gandhi-Irwin Pact, and he could not thus save Bhagat Singh over there. Okay, and now because of this refusal of Gandhiji to make Pact conditional on the commutation or death sentence of Bhagat Singh and his comrades, terms of Pact and timing of the Pact, it generated a debate among the people of those times and even the people of these times. But people forget that many more people would have got killed had Gandhi not accepted the terms of Gandhi-Irwin Pact. And Gandhi is also criticized for bringing down NCM in 1922 after Chauri Chaura. But this query that Gandhi is retracted has been beautifully answered. Okay, please understand number one thing, that the mass movements cannot be carried on forever. There's a limit of the masses just cannot fight forever. The movement start weaning away after 3, 4, 5 years. That is what had happened in this time also. Number two is that signs of exhaustion were already there. Gandhi had this special ability of sensing people, that what is happening and what is not happening. The signs of exhaustion were already there. Number three is that students and younger ones could have sustained longer, okay, but it was tough. Student though you can easily go on strike, school hi nahi na jana, but how would a shopkeeper keep his shop closed and fight against the British government? And number four, he also needs basic money for the bare survival. So many fight in rural India had also weakened, okay, and because same reason, okay, they had their own limitations. Then please understand that 1931 wasn't like 1946 when the movement was really extreme, where even if you stop the movement, people would not have stopped. Here the movement had not matured so much like 1946 year, and the government would change the track and suppress the people with ferocity in 1931. But please understand, the mass movement had not developed to the extent as it did in 1946, where even violence did not stop the people. Okay, and Indians were treated on equal terms for first time for the British. That is the key takeaway. You have to understand that in this background, Gandhi, he always withdrew the movement or whatever decisions he took. Okay, these are the background. You have to keep this in mind, while talking about it. Now, how was the people's reaction to it? Youth wanted to end this thing by a huge bang, not a whimper. Okay, and peasants of Gujarat, they were not happy that some of their land did not come back to them, because British said that will give only those land back which have not been sold. Some peasants are not happy because of this decision. Number three is the majority of the crowd impressed that the British had to retreat. People were very happy that the British had to retreat their movement and treat Indian leaders as equals. Okay, and soldiers also, they could also rest and prepare for the next round of the movement, right? So British reaction to Gandhi Irwin Pact. Okay, now Britishers also react to this, and a lot of other reactions come to Gandhi Irwin Pact that we will discuss in the next lecture. And Nehru was also disappointed with this Gandhi Irwin Pact, because he was looking for Purna Swaraj. Here they are talking about dominion, right? That is how it goes. So now, before I end the lecture, I'll just quickly, draw a small table over here regarding the difference between the CDM and the non-cooperation movement. Okay, so the first difference is about the objective. What is the objective of the movement? So the objective of the CDM was the Purna Swaraj, and here it was the NCM, it was Khilafat wrongs, if you remember. Okay, and the Punjab wrong, that Jallianwala Bagh episode, and other those laws that came at that time. Okay, and how was the CDM performed? It was by breaking the law was broken. Here in NCM the law was not broken. What was the role of people in the CDM? Less of intelligentsia, and more of masses. That was the thing over here. And here it was opposite. The more intelligentsia was involved over here, right? Number 4 is that participation of the Muslims. Okay, it was very, very less when compared to very high in NCM. Okay. Then labor's role. Let me talk about the role of the labor. No labor upsurge was here, but more participation of businessmen and peasant. Okay, so labor participation was low, but businessmen participation was high, and the peasant participation was also high. Okay, and labor upsurge is basically related to the factories and the people working in the factories. The labor was low, but here the labor participation in NCM was high. Okay, here the labor participation is low. It is definitely higher and then the CDM, and but please understand here the no businessman was involved in this particular thing, as they did not understood the that they were at loss. Okay, that is why the businessmen did not participate in it. They were not able to appreciate the movement. And regarding imprisonment, the imprisonment in CDM was 3 times the NCM movement. That it was about 30,000 over here, so that makes it 1 lakh people arrested over here. And finally, the Congress over here, the Congress here was much stronger in the CDM, and here the Congress had grown weak after this only because of the breakage. But here the Congress had grown stronger, and then the difference of outcomes is there. You can always quote as many differences as you want. For example, here one of the biggest outcome that we were equal, but that was not so earlier in the case of the Khilafat movement. Okay, and in fact we decided to fight the elections, right? So that is how it is going on. Now just quickly I will tell you what happened after right after. You see Dandi March is there, Nehru is arrested, Gandhi is arrested, and then there are protests all over, and then Sarojini Naidu in 1925 is the president of the Indian National Congress. Sorry, this is 1925, right? And then after this RTC is announced and Gandhiji is released, and then there is Gandhi Irwin Pact, which is also known as the Delhi Pact. Okay, now in the next lecture we'll talk about from the happenings from Karachi to Wardha session of the Congress, about the second round table conference, the third RTC, the Karachi session, and the Congress reactions to this Gandhi Irwin Pact. Okay, and we'll also talk about the Harijan tour of Gandhi and the Pune Pact. Okay, and we'll also critically evaluate the CDM movement. Okay, that will be in the next lecture. And now just before you go, I'll just quickly make a request to all of you to please, if you can, share this video with other people on your social media channel, and please do click on the like button if you like this video. And lastly, if you want to that all these videos come right into your email box, then you will need to subscribe to us, and you can do that by clicking over here on the subscribe button, right? So that is all, and thank you so much for watching this.